of this group, and this is my friend.
Nesha Xavier Orly as the second speaker.
And this is my friend.
Zamira as the third speaker.
And here we're gonna bring a negative motion about this house believes that lockdown can effectively stop the pandemic spread in Indonesia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm as the first speaker of this group. I want to bring a negative side of the motion that this house believes that lockdown can effectively stop the pandemic spread in Indonesia. Me and my team totally disagree with this motion that lockdown can effectively stop the corona spread in Indonesia. Why? Because we think that lockdown is not a clever idea to do. We have lived with coronavirus for almost 2 years, and at the beginning of the pandemic, we have already done a few of public limitations such as quarantine, PPKM, which is so similar with lockdown, right? But there's no progress, and it's not effective to solve this pandemic. The question is why? Ladies and gentlemen, lockdown means a big limitation of public interaction in every aspect and close the border of the country itself. That means it will bring a big impact to Indonesia, such as economy, education, and many others. The lockdown impact for economy because after lockdown, everything has to be online, right? But yeah, before lockdown we do PPKM and quarantine, we have to be online too. But this is different. This is more a big limitation. So we know there's a lot of works that cannot to be online, or maybe they didn't have access for it, which is citizens from a low economy who have to do their job of fight and education by schooling online, which is not effective at all. Based on my experience, I did nothing from online school. Lockdown will just postpone an offline school learning more longer. And the other reason why I disagree with this motion is because we all know the characterization of citizens in Indonesia. Most of them are stubborn, and they're so easy to get affected by the hoax. And even if we practice lockdown in Indonesia, there's a few of people who listening to government, or even they are doing it, but after that they break it. And once again, we cannot compare Indonesia to another country like Singapore or Australia, because there are a developed country while we are still a developing country, and we're still suffering between the big differences itself. So, what is the solution to stop spread of COVID-19 in Indonesia? Ladies and gentlemen, the solution is in front of our eyes. It's vaccine. With vaccine, we can build a herd immunity. What is a herd immunity? A herd immunity is immunity that our body builds when something enters to our body. With a big herd immunity quantity that Indonesian people have, we can live together with or without corona. And how to make it? And so that's why we think that lockdown would effective, and we strongly disagree with this motion. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. As the first speaker of our group had just said in the background of our beloved country, and as had hardly disagreed to it, and as the second speaker will talk to it. As you all know, this virus called Corona has shaken our country enough, and I'm sure that all of you have known what happened to our country now. And some of you know what coronavirus is better than me. These cases of people died each day to completions for another lockdown. Now let me tell you why we disagree with this so-called lockdown in our point of view. Point number 1. Vaccine is way better than lockdown. After trapped in almost 2 years of pandemic in this country, our government of our beloved country, Indonesia, has applied solutions called vaccine. Now, what is the definition of vaccine? Well, vaccine is a problem of a so-called friendly virus that has already weakened and injected our body in a hope to increase our herd immunity. And how dare I say that vaccine is way better than lockdown? Well, let's step back and remember to what happened the first outcome of this coronavirus. We already experienced what a lockdown is from there. For 3 months or so, we can go out from home, word of things outside. This lockdown called quarantine, according to data in 2020, where lockdown happened. In 2020, the increases of the higher each day. More than 100 people died each day, which goes to the conclusion that lockdown is no use for this country. And according to the 2021 data that came out of this Pacet Indonesia, increases a lot of COVID cases in each day. Well, isn't that music to our ears? More than 80% of COVID cases decreases. Wow! Point number 2, education and lockdown situations. We don't need more lockdown. Now, we're still in a developed country. Yet, we can't just copy and compare a developed country to another developed countries such as America, Australia, Singapore, etc., where they control the situations. They hold these situations. In economic point of view, those developed countries, they are rich. They can control the situations easily. Socials, they are disciplined and smart enough to think what is best for their own country. And unlike Indonesia is Indonesia. We are still a growing country. We have start poor civilization citizens. We're an agricultural country. We eat rice as our main food, and we're poor. Corruptions, debts. What is it? Indisciplined citizens and etc. is everywhere. It always has been our dream to go to another country, a developed country, to take pictures or so, and make our beloved country too, just like them. That's why we need to think this through. If there's no lockdown, if there is lockdown, our hair of our beloved country will have online school. And I, for example, and so does my friends too. We don't even understand a thing about the choice that the teacher gave us. A lot of us outside there, they're here in our countries, learning using internet and not pray to find answer. This is because of the lack of understanding and unwatched behaviors. Our hair of our country is done by a lot of useless things to action. By what? Maybe we find it simple, but it's actually not. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, internet, everything. They can find it. We can't just let them go. Lockdown, we already have vaccine. What more? What is it? It's done. We already have immunity, and that's all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I am the third speaker of my team. I'm going to bring back my first and second speaker argument about how we totally disagree with today's motion which say this house believes that lockdown can effectively stop the pandemic spread in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, as what my first speaker has said, that lockdown in Indonesia is ineffective because we are still a developing country, and we are so different to a developed country like Australia, China, and Singapore, which have solved the pandemic problem by doing a lockdown. Why? Because we are not as ready as them to take the pandemic. We are not as ready as them, both from financial and from our civilians. As we all know, the character of our civilians from Indonesia and the character of the civilians from developed country is really, really different. When they, like for example, Singapore, were having a lockdown, the citizens will all listen to the government and stay at home. But how about us? We already done quarantine for the first 3 months. At the beginning of the pandemic, we only done quarantine for 3 months, but there's no result of it. We still have to live with coronavirus. The question is, how can it be? It's because the character of people from Indonesia is really, really stubborn. It's really different from the character of the citizen from the developed country, which is really, really disciplined. Our citizen is having a hard time to follow and listen to the government, but there are some factors that make them to do so. The first factor, and probably the main factor of it, is because our economy fracture. Countries like Singapore and Australia is a developed country that is rich, they have money, so that if they do a lockdown, they still still can subsidy their citizens. But we cannot do that. We, Indonesia, don't have the money to do that. But our citizens from Indonesia also still have the obligation to work every day, and not all job can be done online. There's a profession that have to be done offline, like fisher and farmers, and the others job too. And the obligation to do work is make them to have to go out. Of course, there will be a lot of people that will still go out if we having a lockdown, because they didn't have the money to fulfill their needs, and also they don't know what to eat for tomorrow. So that's why we cannot do a lockdown at Indonesia. So the question is, what is the solution for the pandemic spread in Indonesia? My second speaker already explained before about how effective the vaccine is. The COVID-19 cases is decreased a lot after the vaccinated program. But what to be the question is how to make Indonesian people want to get the vaccine. Because as we all know, Indonesian people are really stubborn and hard to listen to the government. The answer is, we can giving them penalized for not taking the vaccine. Like, for example, we can limit it or probably forbid the public facilities and public transportation for people that haven't taken the vaccine. For example, if they want to go to the mall, they have to show their vaccinated card so that they can enter the mall. And other than that, by doing vaccine, we can still do a lot of things that we cannot do before if we do quarantine or lockdown, such as study and working. So once again, I'm pretty sure that based on all that argument that me and my friends bring, if we open our eyes more, we can see that lockdown is ineffective if we do it in Indonesia. That's all. Thank you so much.
As the first speaker, I want to conclude what my friend just said. What my friend and I just said is based on a fact and also based on our reality. Other than that, we can also see the proof and the reality in front of our eyes. At the very beginning of the pandemic, Indonesia were practicing quarantine or even PPKM for several months. But look at me now. Do you think Corona still exists? Yes, of course. We're still facing the coronavirus, and we even do this competition online because of the pandemic, right? We already done a lockdown, but the answer is zero. Rate of COVID-19 is not decreased, but increased. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we think that lockdown is not a clever idea to do in Indonesia right now, because it has a lot of the risks than the benefit in our country. It is better to just vaccine as a solution to stop the spread pandemic in Indonesia. That's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.